Hey, Jerry, how have you just seen Eric Stokes progress throughout this rookie year? It certainly seemed from the outside he isn't really just getting straight up beat like he might have been earlier in the season. What have you seen in kind of his development throughout this year?
Well, number one, I think, when you're a rookie coming in the NFL, it doesn't matter where you get drafted. They're going to test you and see if you can play. And I think he was getting a lot of balls thrown at him early, and he had to get, I think really I tell guys, you got to get your feet wet. You got to understand what it means how to play in the NFL. Every ball is not a goal ball, all those type of things. And then how to make tackles when they throw the ball in front of you. And I think you can see a drastic improvement on the things that he's actually done, the last 3 or 4 weeks. And even, playing man to man, which I think is his best forte. And what he's doing is that he's actually, learning as he's growing. This is his maybe, 15th game of the season, 16th game of the season, and counting preseason. And when you look at him, you could actually see a guy getting better and better and better. And that's, one of the things that we talk about. How do you improve? What are you doing that's going to get yourself better every day? And where we know he came in as a press corner, now he's playing off. He's getting better that way. He's understanding what receivers are doing, and now he's understanding the game plan, not just for him, but also for the rest of the other guys around him.
Jason Wilde.
Hey Jerry, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
When you look at what your safeties have done all season, they've set a pretty high standard. What did you think of how Darnell played in Baltimore, and does he need to kind of bounce back from the way a lot of things went?
Well, to me, you look at it, and you're exactly right. I think we do set standards here, and we want to be some of the best guys in the league, not giving up balls over our heads and stuff like that. One of the big things that I talk to, our guys about is how do you bounce back? You had a rough football game here. What are you doing? Are you still thinking about last week? And you're getting ready to play against Cleveland, who has some good football players. And that's a recipe for disaster because every week is totally different. You got to have a short memory. You got to work your tail off on the things that you messed up on. And to me, I think they were mostly angles. The angle that he was taking last week and then his eyes on some things, that's really correctable. The thing is he just didn't get beat physically. He came back and made a couple of plays on over route, which I was, proud of him to see. And then also came back and helped on the fourth down play. So when you see a guy that can make corrections during the course of the game, even though he don't like giving up those plays that he did during the game, that's only going to make you better. Now, and I know this week he's going to be, he's going to be hungry. That basically, he doesn't like giving up plays, and neither do I. But I think sometimes when you get humbled, you get a chance to go out there and prove that, hey, we do have another week, and I can show you that I'm a lot better player than that.
Wes Hodkowitz.
Hey, Jerry, we were talking with Rasul, I think it was last week, and he mentioned, as far as the film study goes, he's always studied film, but, you gave him a couple pointers that really hit home. I'm just wondering what you remember from those conversations early on and just how you've seen him sort of grow in that side of the game.
Well, I think when you're talking to guys, I think we talked about last week of most young guys come in this league and they watch TV. They're amazed about the guy who's over there throwing the ball. They're amazed about the guy who's catching it because they played with him on video. And me, I'm an old guy. We really didn't have a lot of video stuff. So when I study film like this guy I got to go against. How can I see myself making plays against this guy and not just admiring what he's doing? So that way, when I'm watching film, I'm not watching TV. I'm not being amused by the guy. I'm actually studying what he's doing. What is his stem? What is he like? What is his alignment? How does he get off the press? And that takes a lot because a lot of times young guys, their minds wander and they want to go back to video game. And you can't do that when you're studying film. You have to really focus in on what your job is and what are you trying to get out of the video. And that's going to help you better on Sunday. So we kind of did that. We've had some sessions where, you have to refocus. And when you can refocus during the course of the game, like you did watching video during the course of the week, you actually make plays. You see the stuff happening as the play's taking off, and you're like, okay, I can remember that. That's what I see them do. I can go make a play. But when you're a young guy and you don't know how to do that, every play is new, and you never have any tips on anything.
Bill Huber.
Hey, Jerry. I got two-part question. One, why Kevin in that dime role? But B, I guess the bigger question is what are you looking at there? Is it just like a second slot defender? What sort of skill set are you looking for in that role?
Well, I mean, to me, I think what we're trying to do is when you look at us, a lot of defensive backs are playing special teams. And, we want to make sure that Mo is equipped just as well as we are on defense to get our guys up to play. And if there's guys up to play and you're actually suited out, you're going to be playing on special teams if you're not a starter. So I think Kevin has done a great job there. He made a couple of tackles on special teams last week where Rasul, who is a starter, made some tackles on special teams. But when you play defense, we're going to find a role for you. But if you're not a starter, if you're doing a high standard on on special teams, you're going to get a role on defense. Henry is doing an excellent job on defense, but he's also doing an excellent job on special teams. So I try to look for guys' skill sets on what they're doing. What can they do to help us win the football game? And, that's really what I'm looking for. Kevin is a big, long-body guy, good ball skills. He's not afraid to come in there and mix it up in the tackling game. We know that. So if I put you inside, that may even be better for you, especially when Rasul and Eric is doing a really, really good job outside.
Tom Silverstein.
Hey, Jerry, regarding Savage, so were you okay with him undercutting the first one to Andrews if he thinks he's got it? And then secondly, you talk about one play you got to forget. Do you think that play was in his thought on the over route that Andrews caught for a touchdown where it looked like he was going to go underneath him and then he kind of went behind him?
Well, to me, I think if I look at both of those plays, and if you look at it, you're exactly right. To me, I always talk to young guys about when you undercut the ball has to be in the air. Because now the quarterback can't change the trajectory of it. He can't change the flight. And now he's made the decision that this is where I'm going to throw the football. But if you undercut the route too soon and the quarterback still has the ball in his hands, these guys are good enough to throw a receiver open. That's what we say. They throw receivers open. And on those two plays, I thought Savage undercut it and the quarterback threw the receiver open away from where Savage was. So I'm a little bit more cautious about undercutting routes before the ball's in the air. So all the thing I told him is, hey, play upfield shoulder. When the ball gets in the air, if you got the ability to get around a big body guy like that, you can intercept the ball. If not, just knock the ball down. Just hit his right arm. I've never seen a receiver catch the ball with the inside hand without the outside hand coming up. So that way he's trying to catch the ball with one arm and he can't catch it. So that way, and if he does catch it, it's a 5-yard, catch compared to being a 45-yard gain. And then on the touchdown play, I thought he did the same thing. He undercut the route too soon. And then the receiver, he don't know where the receiver is. So the tight end just adjusted to the ball. So, those two plays, like I said, they're all correctable, which is a good sign. Again, just if you're upfield shoulder, you can do what you want to. Because now you can see the receiver and the quarterback at the same time. If you undercut, you can only see the quarterback. Well, the most important guy is the receiver on the field to me, not the quarterback as a defensive back.
Hey, Doherty.
Thanks.
Hey, Jerry, on third downs especially, what determines the cushion that your guys give? Is it the player? Is it the play call? Is it something else?
No, to me, I think it just depends on what the down and distance is. If it's 3rd and 3, 4, we got to get up there and challenge guys. We know we got to get off the football field. We got to make those guys, beat you. If they're going to try to beat you, it's going to be a competitive throw, or they're going to have to beat you over the top. And I think that's one thing that, I need to stress more, understanding what situation that you're in. I know we really talked about situation football this week. I know Matt stressed it. Joe stressed it. And we got to actually dominate in that area, especially, again, it's hard to get them into third down in the NFL. And then when you get there, you have to understand what's the situation that's going to get you off the football field. And that's where we got to get back to.
We're going to do 2 more real quick. Jason Wilde.
Hey, Jerry, you mentioned being an old guy, which is great because your institutional knowledge is ridiculous. I'm wondering, I know you're focused on opposing offenses, but you had to at least notice what Baltimore did to Devontae. Were you ever part of a scheme where you put 3 guys on a guy occasionally? and what does that say to you as an old defensive back that they tried to do that against your stud receiver?
Well, I mean, to me, I think Baltimore did a great job of saying, you know what, we're not going to let Tay beat you. We're going to make him throw and play left-handed. You know, I mean, when you got a guy with a hot hand like that, you gotta do something to get the ball away from him. And if he just constantly beating you on the field, then guess what? You didn't make any adjustments, and I think Baltimore was doing that. But again, I don't know what their meeting was, but I do know one thing: if there's a guy with a hot hand, you got to do something to stop him. You know, it just, you know, again, if that double team, if that's triple team, if we take a guy to rush and hit him at the line of scrimmage, you may have to do that. But I know one thing: making an adjustment is not bad in football.
And last one, West Side quits.
Hey, Jerry, we were talking with Eric earlier, and he was mentioning how valuable it's been to have Jair, on the practice field, still kind of setting the standard with things. I'm just curious, the last 2 months, just what he's been like in your room and what kind of resource he's been, how you've sort of seen him lead with some of those younger guys.
Well, I mean, anytime you got an all-pro guy in your room that's getting back, getting healed up, doing the things he needs to do, but there's nothing wrong with him mentally. You know, mentally, he still have his edge. He should still have everything he needs to do in order to pass the information on. I mean, to me, I think that's a sign of a pro, a guy who's saying, you know what, I'm not going to be selfish with the knowledge I got of the game. I'm going to teach these young guys how to play, even though they're at my position. Because I do know one thing, we're going to compete for starting jobs around here, but if I can't play, why would I keep secrets away from guys that can help us win? And I think that's what Jair's doing.